Industrious.
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 Today we are visiting the Grand Old South and a state which has a long tradition there, South Carolina. Find out how industrious people such as the mayor of a city, employees at a factory, local government officials, and an energy company spokesman share information about their work and how international relationships play a role here. How does a city change from a textile-producing area into a center of international development? Listen to the mayor of Spartanburg and to a German engineer to discover how such an industrious transformation has happened.
I'm James Talley, the mayor of the city of Spartanburg, and my job as mayor is to oversee the city government. I'm the chief liaison officer for the city of Spartanburg with all governmental affairs. Elected at large, and we have 6 other council members who are elected by districts. Mm-hmm. My job is mostly as mayor to make sure that the ordinances and the resolutions of the city are carried out. We have a city manager, and our city manager oversees the day-to-day operations of the city.
Mm-hmm. How large a city is Spartanburg?
Spartanburg is 46,000 plus. Mm-hmm. We are the 4th, some say the 5th, but I still maintain we're the 4th largest city in the state of South Carolina.
And tell us what effect the international companies that are located here in the area have on life in Spartanburg.
I think it has improved the quality of life that we have here in Spartanburg. Spartanburg is a very old industrial city, and we dealt a lot with the textiles in our early existence. And through those textiles, we've been able to attract foreign companies who've come here into Spartanburg and have made it their home also. It has affected our arts and our culture, where we are more diversified than most cities in the state of South Carolina. The companies that are located here, and they number plus 20 plus or more, mm-hmm. Are located here in the city of Spartanburg, have found this to be home away from home. The climate is a lot like that climate in their hometowns and some areas of the country. And most of our German citizens have found this to be very conducive as to a way of life that they enjoy.
Yeah, I started my job here in May '95. I'm here now almost 3 years. And for me, it was a big challenge to come to the U.S. as BMW decided to build a manufacturing plant here in Spartanburg. It really was a challenge, and I said to my wife just to move to the U.S. if we have the opportunity. And because the United States are such an exciting country, and I guess it's not only me who wanted to live here and to learn a little bit more about the American culture.
Would you be pleased if there were more people coming from the outside and making Spartanburg their home as well?
Oh, it wouldn't bother us not one bit, because the contributions that have been made by people that come from the outside, we say from the outside, but we call them home citizens now. They're almost like they're homegrown. But the contributions that have been made to our community, especially to the upstate, has been tremendous. It's been one that we've flourished. We've enjoyed the relationship, the partnership, and being able to travel from one country to another to see their hometowns and see how they live, and we can take the they out of it and call it we, because it's a we type community where the people here now just really enjoy being here, and we enjoy everybody being here.
I guess it's really true if they are talking here in the South about the Southern hospitality, and the people are really very friendly, and we were really welcome when we arrived here in the U.S.
And tell us about your function then within the state.
Well, I'm the state president of the Municipal Association of the state of South Carolina, and in that we continue to lobby the state government for different aspects that affect different cities, and it deals largely with the cities of the state of South Carolina. And what happens there, we have 2 conferences a year, and we have board meetings every quarter. And there we have an opportunity to share best practices. And in those best practices, we get an opportunity to talk about what's good in our community and what's good in other communities, and we kind of borrow from each other. One of the largest cities in the state of South Carolina, and probably without a doubt the largest, the largest city with the multicultural diversity that we have here. We are able to share that with most people in South Carolina as to the progress that we've made and the benefits that we've gained from having such a diversified community. Elected at large.
Someone who is elected at large, such as a mayor, is chosen by all the voters in the city, not by people in one district.
Where we are more diversified than most cities in the state of South Carolina.
Something that is diversified has many variations or many different aspects.
Our German citizens have found this to be very conducive as to a way of life that they enjoy.
Something that is conducive helps something else to happen or to be possible.
It's been tremendous. It's been one that we've flourished.
Something that flourishes is successful or grows in itself.
Well, I'm the state president of the Municipal Association of the state of South Carolina.
Municipal is a word which refers to anything dealing with a city government.
And there we have an opportunity to share best practices.
Best practices is a system of exchanging ideas to find the best way to do something. BMW's move into manufacturing in the U.S. required support from many others.
Since the buildup of the plant here in South Carolina, this has become a very industrious area.
The discussion of a BMW employee and a county official provide more information on their cooperation for this industrious project.
Well, since we just finished watching that little piece of tape that we have from the factory, I thought maybe we could talk for a few minutes about the upcoming project on Phase 2. As you know, we've now about $600 million into the project, and we will be spending another $600 million over the next few years and hiring about 1,000 people. We've got a little bit of concern about a wastewater problem that we may have in terms of capacity here in the county.
Well, when BMW initially approached us about coming to Spartanburg, we knew that infrastructure might be a problem, and fortunately we were able to handle your initial investment in Spartanburg. But with the expansion, as you just mentioned, you know, the effluent that the plant may produce may be too much for our current facilities to handle, so we're going to have to look at the possibility of expanding our current facilities to meet your needs that are associated with the expansion.
Well, I think luckily we got enough time. It looks like from a volume standpoint, it'll be about 2 years before we may need that capacity. So do we have enough time, you think, to work out the details?
Yeah, 2 years should give us sufficient time to have the necessary design work done for the expansion of the plant and have the actual construction completed before your expansion goes online.
And then, of course, the other thing that you and I both have had concern about is the interstate highway out here, being a 4-lane road now and the capacity we have, and it looks like our partners at the state are going to help expand it. But then we're going to have, looks like we may have a problem with the exit ramps and what improvements we can try to accomplish there. What do you think?
Well, that's a very good point. From the very beginning, BMW has let the county know that it is very dependent on just-in-time delivery. And with the current exit ramps that we have off the interstate, with your suppliers coming in, bringing the supplies for the just-in-time delivery to manufacture the product, we're going to have to look at that situation, because if there's a wreck or some other accident on the interstate now that blocks that one exit ramp, as you know, it could have a critical impact on your production schedule, and we don't want to be the cause of you not being able to meet your production guidelines.
Well, I will have, we've got a consultant that is looking at that traffic flow for us. We now think we've got a window of about an hour and a half before we would have production interruption if there was an accident on the roadway and we lost access. So that's a pretty thin window when you think in terms of the future of all these people being employed who could be idled by something as small as a traffic accident. So alternate access to the plant is going to really become key for us as we get into the next century, and appreciate y'all's willingness to help us with it. The other thing that we are focused on is the deregulation of the electrical industry, and as we go to potential of multiple suppliers and having maybe even an increase in the amount of power we generate on the site, and we may need some help from the county again, particularly dealing with issues of water in order to accomplish the generation of the steam and so forth we need for drying. Do you see any problems coming in that area?
No, I really don't. I think the deregulation issue that you mentioned is going to be one that causes a great deal of conversation here in the future, and the way it's going to impact BMW is going to be significant every which way it goes. So, yeah, as county government, we're here to assist you in whatever you think is going to be the most efficient way for you to achieve power, to generate power, in order for you to continue to do the great things that you've been doing for the county.
We've got a little bit of concern about a wastewater problem.
Wastewater is all the water which has been used for some purpose and then is disposed of or thrown out.
the interstate highway out here.
Interstate highway is the American name for the national road which leads from one state to another state.
It is very dependent on just-in-time delivery.
Just-in-time delivery is the system in which suppliers bring goods at the time they are needed to the factory for production.
As you know, it could have a critical impact on your production schedule.
Impact is something that has a strong effect on something else.
Of all these people being employed who could be idled by something as small as a traffic accident.
Someone who is idle is someone who does nothing, who has no work to do.
The deregulation of the electrical industry.
Deregulation is the process of freeing a business from any legal or governmental controls. An American working for a German company has many opportunities. One engineer at BMW tells what working there is like for him and whether he has become more industrious through his interaction with German colleagues.
My name is Adolphus Williams. We're in Greenville, South Carolina at the BMW plant. I'm a process engineer responsible for industrializing new products into our plant.
Are you originally from this area?
No, I'm from Natchitoches, Louisiana, the oldest settlement in Louisiana Purchase. I have been here about 5 years. Previous to this, I was in Cincinnati, Ohio, and I worked for GE Aircraft Engines.
Okay. And what was the motivation to come to a plant like BMW and start to work here?
Okay, previous to this, I worked for a French company that builds tires in the area. That didn't exactly float my boat. So I wanted to come to a product that, I'm a mechanical engineer. I wanted to work on a product that more fit my education and my personal goals. And BMW builds one of the best mechanical products that exist.
Okay. And how do you feel now about working hand in hand in America with German people here in the plant?
Actually, I've really enjoyed it so far. I found the German people to be very straightforward and forthcoming with information, very free and open with information, and willing to teach and help us grow as a plant.
I noticed before you said something in German. Have you spent time in Germany, or have you learned German here, or how did that come about?
Okay, I've probably been to Germany, I think, approximately 8 times. I've traveled to Munich, Regensburg, and Dingolfing, but I've also been taking lessons here. I want to grow as an individual.
Okay, excellent. And as far as cultural exchange is concerned, these people not only work here, but they also live here and have their families here. Is there any interaction on that level?
Actually, there is. It turns out my next-door neighbor is German, but he doesn't work for BMW. He works for another company here locally, and we interact quite often. We work on our German together. Likewise, we often have social functions where we all go out as a team inside the plant. We had one a couple of weeks ago. We had a potluck where we all brought dishes from our ethnic and or national origins to share and experience that together.
Okay. And what do you think about the individuals who are here? Are they this typical, what Germans think of as being very busy and active and industrious type people, or is that the way you feel about the people that you work with here?
Before I came here, I was warned by the French company that the Germans were crazy. I found just the opposite. I found the Germans are very easy to work with. As I said, they're forthcoming with information. I don't see any of the political things I had to deal with before coming here. I have found them to be very industrious, very energetic in trying to get things accomplished, and they've also helped us to develop the power, as they say. That didn't exactly float my boat.
When someone says float my boat, they mean that something is interesting or that they like it.
We had a potluck where we all brought dishes from our ethnic and or national origins.
Potluck is a meal to which all invited bring special food to share with each other. Electricity is a vital part of any industrious new activity. Find out how the Duke Power Company has provided assistance for the region and how this has helped everyone involved.
I'm John Kincaid. I'm Director of Business Development in South Carolina for Duke Power Company, which is now a major division of Duke Energy Corporation. I work at this time with a number of industries and other individuals who look at the region and consider relocating to our area. Historically, Duke Power Company has been a major supplier of electricity and energy primarily in the Carolinas. We started back in about 1904 building hydroelectric plants along some of the area's rivers to generate electricity at that time to provide energy mainly for the textile industry. And for the first 50 or 60 years of our company, and historically in this part of the Carolinas, the major industry really was textile related. The area was very rural, great deal of farming, and then manufacturing of textiles as well. And our company basically grew up providing energy to industry. This has historically been a very industrious area in that a number of the people early on, within the last 50 or 60 years, worked in those textile mills. And we have been very fortunate that we were able to grow and prosper with the regions. Our philosophy about growth and supporting industry has been one of trying to form partnerships, basically, with the communities where we operate and with the customers. We have historically worked hard to support the communities in their efforts. And we've been fortunate in areas like Spartanburg and Greenville over the years in that community leadership proved to be very interested in making contacts internationally. Early on, they saw that eventually we would grow into a global economy and began to try to develop those type of relationships around the world. The textile industry probably fostered some of that international focus in that there have always been a number of textile-related partnerships and industries, equipment manufacturers in Europe and other parts of the world that work closely with this area in the textile arena. But in the last 30 or 40 years, we began to see diversity. And throughout that time, as we worked to support our communities in developing this international focus, we grew right along with it. And today we have grown to where we are now the largest energy company in the United States. And probably one of the best assets that we bring to our partnerships with both our customers and our communities are just the fact that we are a leading innovator in the energy industry. I mentioned that we were the largest energy utility in the United States. We have also historically been one of the most efficient operators. We're very proud that in the last 2 years, surveys of people throughout the United States have indicated that we are the #1 utility from a customer satisfaction standpoint in the United States. So we're proud of that rating. In addition to being efficient and highly competent from a technical standpoint, we have been able to focus on and meet our customers' needs and satisfy their needs, basically. So we've been honored and proud to be a part of the growth of the region in an international perspective. Some years ago, when BMW elected to come to the area, we were approached by the governor of the state and the Spartanburg community to assist with the BMW project. And of course, that was a project that was important, perceived as being important, and a highly prestigious project that was looking at coming to the United States. So we basically responded to those requests for support and did what we could to bring all the resources within our company, including real estate departments who were accustomed to working with purchases of land, that sort of thing. We brought together our full resources to support the state again and the communities in trying to help, from our perspective, make that project become a reality. And we were very proud, along with the communities, when they ultimately made the decision to come to this area. We were able to grow and prosper with the regions.
Prosper is a word that means to be successful, especially in the financial sense.
Early on, they saw that eventually we would grow into a global economy.
Eventually is a word that in English means in the end or at last, when something really happens.
Probably one of the best assets that we bring to our partnerships.
Assets are those things that are valuable and owned by a company, such as land or buildings or vehicles.
I mentioned that we were the largest energy utility in the United States.
A utility is a service provided for the public, such as electricity or water or telephone service.
Including real estate departments.
Real estate is the word used when discussing things about houses or land, especially buying and selling.